Everybody, Mike from Wrestling Then Now. Thanks so much for checking out the George South interview clips. George South, man, guy's been everywhere. The guy's done everything, and now he's got his own action figure. To pre-order until December 10th, your George South action figure, go to shamtheman73 at gmail.com. That's SHAMTHEMAN and the number 73 at gmail.com. Support one of the good guys. Support a true legend in pro wrestling, George South.
George, what do you think for you? What was the difference between working for NWA slash WCW and the WWF doing TV? For me, I always felt like WWF was a little more structured. It was a little more
Yes.
like and WCW just felt like, and WWF I always felt like, all right, there's TV guys and there's contract guys. WCW always felt like
Right.
it was just a room full of wrestlers. That's how I felt. How did you feel?
Right. Same, buddy.
Yeah.
The same. I tell you what did it for me. I always loved, and to this day, I love setting up a wrestling ring. You hear a lot of guys say, I ain't doing that, but I always loved being around a wrestling ring because I knew what it took for me to get there. So I actually helped WCW out a lot, and they were still like hauling a ring like on a nice trailer, like me and you may, a good independent show. I mean, it wasn't nothing fancy. I mean, it was just a nice trailer, no big deal. My first WWF television, when we landed and we got to the building, there were like 8 tractor trailers.
Yeah.
I mean, transfer trucks with their logos on the side. And I'd never seen nothing like that. And I remember asking Chief Jay Strongbow, who helped get me up there. I asked him what was all those trucks, and he thought I was crazy. I'd never seen nothing like that. And he said, well, this one has all of our merchandise in it. This one has this in it. Well, this one has our ring and the railing in it. And I know that don't mean a lot to a lot of people, but it's like, it's like Dorothy when she realized she wasn't in Kansas in the Wizard of Oz. I realized right then, I'm not in Atlanta no more. And WWF was the first company to ever like feed us. I remember Jay Strongbow kept telling me to go to catering. I know what catering was, but at a wrestling event, are you kidding me? And I loved it. And the most important thing is they paid us, as you know, they paid us in cash.
Right.
You did not wait, 3 months. You go down there for WCW, even NWA, and you got paid a week, once a week or every 2 weeks. But man, I fell in love with WWF. To me, there was no comparison.
Right.
I mean, it's like, to me, everybody else was playing wrestling, but man, when you get up there, but it was a company, and it was like NWA, Mid-Atlantic was that here for me, Jim Crockett. That was where I grew up, and it was like WCW was okay too, but it was like, man, it was just like a jump for me from Mid-Atlantic to WWF. And what was so cool about it is, Ace, it was the same guys.
Yeah.
Like the dressing room I would be with here eventually would end up with me in WWF.
Yeah.
And so we all knew each other. But the most impressive thing, real quick, my first TV WWF, we got lost getting into the building. Me and I had about 4 guys with me. And we went in one door that we were just trying to get into the arena. And for some reason we bumped in to Vince McMahon. Man, I'm not lying. The very first person I ever meet in WWF is Vince McMahon. And the most impressive thing, we walked. I don't know if we went into his office. We didn't even know how to get in the building. We just came in the back.
Right.
And the first person in the hall was him.
Wow.
And the most impressive thing, Ace, I could tell anybody, is he knew every one of us by name.
Oh, wow.
He was very polite. He thanked us for coming. And then individually, he knew our names. And to me, never being there, and you'd heard all this stuff about Vince McMahon, and you always hear stories that he's the man. He knows everything. He knew everything. I mean, now you know why his company was so successful. He cared enough to know who we were, who these guys was. He didn't call us you got the wrong room, guys.
Right.
Or, you can't come in here. He spent about 10 minutes with us and thanked every one of us by name. And to a lot of people, that may not seem important, but, buddy, you talking about detailed. He knew who we were. And it was kind of neat your first day there. And I loved every minute of it.
He has a presence to him for sure.
Yes, sir.
Like if you close your eyes, I almost feel like you could feel him walking into a room. You know what I mean?
Oh, it's unbelievable. And something, I know you know this, Ace. I tell people, everybody says, well, what was he like? And you hear stories that nobody could talk to him at TV, but he always had his office, and the door was always open. Every time I'd walk by there to go to catering or to go to the dressing room, his door was never shut. Like if the boys wanted, one of the top guys wanted to talk to him.
Right.
Every time I saw one of the top guys talking to him, it was right there in front of everybody.
Right.
I mean, it's like, what do you mean he wasn't accessible? And yeah, he was.